So somebody was listening and he just messaged me that there is no audio. So I will again repeat for his benefit. Okay, so there are four questions. What is the purpose of our life here? Why are we here? Or why do we meet people? And what is that we undergo? Or and then the fourth one would be that is there anything called as pleasure and pain? And why do we see pain in pleasure and pleasure in pain? And whatever we undergo, is it something predetermined and predestined? So these are the four questions what one can get into, and hopefully this chapter explains that. So let's begin with Arjuna asking these questions. It in Tattvam Asi, he is asking Kim Tat Brahma? What is Brahma? That Brahman. Tat Brahma is not that English word that thou art is what they put, but that is beyond that basically. So it is better to use Kim Tat Brahma. Adhyaatmam, what is Adhyatma? Kim Karma Purushottama, what is action? Purusha Uttama. Uttama is the highest. Purusha is the, we can roughly translate it as entity or a soul. Okay, best among the soul. Adhibhootam cha kim proktam, what is declared as Adhibhootam? Adhidaivam kim uchyate, and what is the meaning of Adhidaiva? Adhiyagna katam kaha atra, who and how is Adhiyagna? Dehe asmin madhusudana, here in this body, one who can destroy all the mental defilements. That is the reason is called as Madhusudana. Prayana kale cha katham, at the time of death, how can one? Gneha asi niyatatmibihi, and how one can know and be under self-control at the time of death. So what all to be addressed is Tat Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, Adhiyagna, and then Prayana Kale. So he explains all the six. Kshara, perishable. Akshara, imperishable, is Brahman. Swabhavaha Adhyaatmam Uchyate, the imperishable is called as Jiva. Question? Confused? No question?
It's fine.
Fine, okay. This is a very deep concept, so I don't mind stopping here to answer. The imperishable is Jiva.
Imperishable is Brahman, no?
Correct. But imperishable, which is established in perishable, is Jiva.
Okay. So not imperishable is Jiva.
No. Imperishable in the perishable is Jiva.
Okay.
Okay. So Adhyatma is that plane of existence where the entity now interacts with perishable. Bhuta bhava udbhava karaha. Now, bhuta is the five elements, bhava is to become, udbhava is to arise, karaha to make, to create. So this is the cause of origin of all existence of all beings with five elements. Visargaha karma samgnitaha. And this is what the karma would be. So every being will do its karma either to protect itself from destruction or go out of existence. So you can do both. Liberation is to give up existence, bondage is to continue existence, and both are possible because that akshara is now kshara, whereas Brahman is akshara. But that swabhava of that Brahman, which is kshara, akshara, has been formed in kshara. So once it is formed in kshara, it becomes limited. So from unlimited, it becomes limited. When it becomes limited, it has a limited space and limited time. So time and space construct will start working. And since the time and space starts working, it has the guna of particle as well as a wave. And they merge each other all the time. And that merging and dissipating is called as Brahmana. Brahmana means to circle, to go around axis. So all the atoms and all the electrons, proton, and if you have subatomic or whatever we call quark, or to whatever level we can divide it, they go round its own axis. So since we are also formed of the same, the turning and moving and everything is going to happen. That movement is provided by Brahman. That is called consciousness. Now, since it is circling within a particular space, it becomes confined to that space and can turn for a period of time, beyond which it stops turning and it falls down. So it keeps on falling down moment to moment, and a new one takes its place. Again that falls down, another one takes its place. That falls down and another takes in space. So this is bhuta bhava. Bhava is to become. So each one becomes one thing for one time, and they go out of that space and time. And that is the reason it's called udbhava. It gets manifested, created, known, seen, and all that. And that is the karma. Visargaha karmaha samgnitaha. And these are the actions which are offered as sacrifice. In where? Into that Brahman. Got it? Question? Very clear? Okay.
So this Brahman is beyond these particles and waves and all that.
Yes.
So when the Brahman becomes limited, is when we have these particles and waves.
Yes. So the quantum mechanics and quantum physics, what we are learning is to understand the Prakriti in full. which is what Adhyaatma or spirituality is all about. So physics and spirituality both are same. So if you were to understand particle physics, you will understand the 8th chapter.
So that is still Prakriti only.
Yeah, you cannot understand Purusha.
Correct. So what you're trying to understand is Prakriti in his full form.
In its full form, so that you can come out of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas.
Yeah.
That is the whole idea.
So this Tat is the Prakriti in full, or is Brahman?
It's Brahman.
Yeah, that's what I've understood. Now I got confused because you said in this chapter we will know what is Tat.
Yes, you will come to know Tat through Prakriti.
Yeah. Okay.
So you first have to understand the Pratibimba. To understand there is a Bimba. That means you need to first understand the reflective consciousness to see what is reflecting. You cannot see the moon because you yourself is the bucket. So how can you then perceive the moon sitting inside the bucket?
Correct.
So what he is saying is, if we were to take that body, water and the moon, that Akshara Brahma Paramam, that is that sun or moon or whatever we want to call, the image of that is falling on the bucket, which is the mind, water. But now the water has, that is, this mind has the capacity to create, which is what we are doing. We are creating product, we are creating services, we are creating technology, we are doing everything using physics to manipulate the matter. So that's exactly what we are doing. But this is limited. You cannot create an unlimited thing. It's always conditioned by time and space. Only that Tat is not conditioned. Everything else under the sun is conditioned. Sun is not conditioned and everything else. That's what is the whole meaning of this.
Okay.
So now we come to the another one. It's a continuation. Adhibhootam ksharaha bhavaha. Now there is Adhibhoota. Adhibhoota is Adhi, when it is used, it means above or elevated. Ksharaha bhavaha. This one is very funny. This, what we call as gross plane of existence, is the kshara bhava. You can see it is diminishing moment to moment or perishable. So the days are going away. We started in January. Today we are on September 2nd. So kshara. I started the first year birthday. Now I am 48. So 48 years have gone by. I was a size of around 2 feet. Now I am 5 feet 5 inches. At that time I had a particular set of hair and face and chin and all that. Now I don't have anything of that, but I have something different. So then next 10 years and next 10 years and next 10 years till the body falls down, this kshara is going to continue. It cannot be a kshara. Whereas the consciousness is moving. I think all of you would have seen the video which I had sent some months ago, maybe in March, when I had this experience of how each frames are coming and falling. I had sent you that frame per second, FPS. So that is what Yeah, that is what he's talking about here. Adhibhootam kshara bhavaha. If you really get that experience of how each frame is falling away and a new frame takes up in place and that frame falls away and another takes in shape, that is what the Adhibhuta is all about. As soon as the consciousness passes through, when the consciousness come through, it comes to life, and as soon as the consciousness passes from there, it loses life, and the next set will take up, and then that will fall, and the next set will take up another fall, giving it an impression that you're moving, you're eating, you're singing, you're talking, you're walking and all that, but really it is nothing of that is happening. Purushaha cha Adhidaivatam. So this Hiranyagarbha is the Purusha here. That is the subtle plane entity. Adhiyagnam aham eva atra. The causal entity is this I alone here. Dehe deha britam vara. In this body, I establish as an individual. That's what Krishna is saying. So we need to understand what is the supreme reality and what is the Atman. So the supreme reality, it is supreme because it has no beginning, no end. Nothing can be known, nothing can be perceived, nothing can be said, nothing can be explained, nothing can be conceptualized, nothing at all. So the first question, why are we here? What's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is to go back to the source. First question. Second question, why do we meet those people whom we are supposed to meet? We meet because of the karma. There is nothing else holding that being not getting liberated because of karma, good karma or bad karma. It is karma. Is it predestined and predetermined? Nothing in this world is predestined or predetermined, but it is dependent on causes and conditions. And the cause and condition is created through karma. Whatever manifests, that gets produced. And whatever gets produced will get consumed. And whatever gets consumed will get digested. And whatever gets digested is then taken up by the being. So the cause and the condition, that is the hetu and phala, cause and effect, is what creates the destiny and also determination where that being is going to go. So the concept of free will, if at all is there, is conditioned by the same element. Yeah, Padma.
Vilas, I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Always that requirement of the life is to move towards the source. And if everything is attracted, meaning the whole thing is attracted towards that source, why in the first place that this whole thing is happening? Meaning, why is that Prakriti is pushing to reach the Purusha and then form this world at all? Why can't it be like nothing?
Very good.
I don't know whether I have been able to articulate my question.
No, your question is valid.
What I'm saying is when Prakriti attracts the Purusha, and Purusha and Prakriti together is the reason for the whole thing, meaning the reason for this world, reason for this Maya, and reason for the existence of animals, reason for the existence of this world, people, the karma aspect. Everything is coming because of the Prakriti and Purusha being together. But why this has to happen? Why can't there be nothing?
Yes, there can be nothing, but there is no answer for that. in any book it doesn't talk about the source because there is no source.
Yeah. So this answer you will never find anywhere. I've
Because,
searched in many books.
Okay. Okay.
so Padmashri, your question is valid, and this is when something comes up like a creator theory that God has created and then he knows best, and goes into another kind saying that nobody created anything. So both are wrong. There is law that is called as nature law. So that nature law, who put it in practice and why it is in this way, why the beings look like this, what are the causes for somebody to get a fair skin or a dark skin, somebody to be tall, somebody to be short, and all that are there in nature. But how did it decide to make somebody tall and somebody short? And what is the need for Prakriti and Purusha to mingle? Those questions have no answer. Even though it is very valid, it is reasonable, it is logical, it is something that makes tremendous sense if known. But since Prakriti is infinite, Purusha is infinite, you cannot create a finite in infinite. So that beats the logic, and that's the reason it is not there. And for no good reasons. Otherwise, by now they would have written why and how Prakriti and Purusha thought about meeting. What was the cause? After that, they have answer, just like the Big Bang theory. After the Big Bang, they have answer. But before Big Bang, what happened? Nobody has an answer. Even though they come with this string theory and various other theories to look at from a quantum mechanics perspective rather than the Big Bang theory, but then nobody has a perfect answer on how consciousness took the form and why it took the form. There is no answer. So Krishna is trying to answer 6 questions here. What is Tat Brahma or the Brahman Karma Samgnitaha? That is, what are the selfless acts and knowledge, which is the Yajna. Adhyaatma is the reflected consciousness, and that is the Jiva. Adhibhootam is the gross plane of existence, which we call it as Vishwa or the world. Adhidaivam, the subtle plane of existence, that is the Tejasa. That is the Tejasa means the energy source. And Adhiyagna is the indweller who does activity in a given body, and that is called as Atman. So the first question, who is Brahman and why it is Akshara? The only reason why it is Akshara is because we don't know. Simple. Because it is imperishable. If there is something perishable, there should be something which is imperishable. If something is conditioned, then there something should be there which is unconditioned. So we are trying to experience the unconditioned reality, which in other words, the body represents the bucket, the water represents the mind, the reflected consciousness represents the Atma. What is that we are trying to do is to drop the water and the bucket. That is what happens when a person goes to deep sleep state. Shushupti. Shushupti, once a person goes, he does not have the 5 senses getting attached to 5 sense objects, so he cannot perceive anything called as the world. World exists, but for him or her, it is no existence. So then the father and the mother and the brother and the sister and the husband and wife, the children, the home, the car, the career, the meetings, the eatings and breakfast, the lunch and the dinner, the cash and the bank balance, the investments and all of that, corona or whatever it is, cancer or this disease, that disease, nothing of that exists in deep sleep. So the world is not there. The world is not there because there is no sense and sense objects to perceive. If there are no sense and sense objects to perceive, then there is utmost bliss. This is Ananda. But this is happening out of ignorance. And that's the reason a person would love to go for a deep sleep state, because it is blissful. There is no I over there. Now it stays in the reflected consciousness, which is the Atma. Only Atma exists and nothing else. All the other faculties are no longer working. What we are trying to showcase is that this fourth state called Turiya, wherein you are awake and yet you are sleeping. The deep sleep is a state at waking means, which is what I was doing this morning while walking, is when you see a sight, you just watch the sight as a sight. The eye is there, the object in front is there, don't name it. Meaning, don't perceive it. So let's say there is a tree, I see the tree, but I don't name the tree. Just watch it as four elements. Then there is a sound of a crow or a eagle or any other cuckoo or whatever it is. Instead of naming all of this, just watch them as though it is you. Then you see the difference. It's like the sound coming through my mouth equivalent to sound coming from the mouth of the bird. Otherwise, the mind will make it as croaking and birds chirping and all that. So, lot many names and lot many forms. Then when there is smell, just watch the smell as it goes through your nose. Don't identify it as a good smell or a bad smell or whatever it is. Then when something is to be touched, touch it as though it is dead wood with four elements. And something to taste. While walking I couldn't taste anything, but then if I were to taste my own saliva, just do not name it or perceive it in that way. So while I do that in 1 hour, what I gained was as good as a deep sleep. But I was awake because there are no sense objects getting attached. This is the Shama and Dhamma in action. So when there is a sound, treat it as a sound. When there is a sight, treat it as a sight. When there is a taste, take it as a taste. When there is a smell, take it as a smell. When there is touch, take it as a touch. And when there are thoughts, consider it as a thought. Nothing to do with my sight, my sound, my taste, my touch, my smell, and my thoughts. So if I were to stay in that nature, I'm experiencing Brahman. Right now also I'm experiencing as I speak to you. Reason being, there is no separate identity. If it is becomes my taste, then the duality starts. Taste is a taste. Every being will taste something. Smell, every being will smell. Touch, every being will touch. Sight, every being will see. Sound, every being will hear. Thought, every being will think. Perceive, every being will perceive. Feel, every being will feel. Grasping, every being will be grasping something or the other. Craving, every being will crave something or the other. So what else is there as mine? What's special? What is the special quality? Nothing. So if I were to put the 5 elements, out of that remove the space element because I can't see space, I'm within the space. So if I take the earth element and see everything is made out of earth element, so it becomes Ananta. This is how I can now perceive the Ananta of the Prakriti. Prakriti Guna has Prithvi. So I can see the whole world is made out of Prithvi. It's not mine. I did not bring it. It's there. And it's there in this body also. So there's nothing like I brought something and there is something outside. Neither I brought anything and there is nothing outside. It is whatever is outside is there inside, and whatever is there inside is there outside. So ni mayayolago ninnolu mayayo. So this is exactly what that would answer the question. So the purpose of life is to understand these 5 elements which are there, part of the nature. It is not part of me, it is part of nature. Now through the eyesight, when the consciousness connects with an object, then there is grasping that this is my object. Like I can say this is my wife, and this is my son, this is my building, or this is my home, this is my chair, this is my table. Now what if the consciousness is just consciousness, and the table and the chair and other things are just table and chair and other things? They are not mine, because they're again made out of 5 elements. So what is the point in a 5 element saying that this is my 5 element? It looks stupidity. So this is the practice what I am doing. Advantage of that is you can get into this Brahma Jnana immediately, because it is unbound. What is there to bind? So neither I brought in Prithvi, so I can see Ananta of Prithvi, nor I brought in Apo, because if I sweat, there is Apo which is coming in. It is not that I filled it with my water to open up my tap so that from the body my sweat will come. It is there and it comes to everyone. I am not special. Then there is heat and cold in the body. There is heat and cold outside. There is heat and cold in every human being. I did not bring it. So it is there. Then going deeper, movement. Why you creates movement? It's not my movement. If I am stepping up, standing up, going here, going there, sitting, standing, walking, talking, all of that, there is movement. This movement is not mine. This movement is created due to the air plus consciousness. So I don't have any role to play in movement. And I'm enclosed within a space. I did not bring in the space. I have taken the space. This I is in the space. So when I am in the space, I am called as a jiva. That is Adhyaatmam. This is the microcosmic individual level. So now this association gives me two kinds of bodies. One is a subtle body, Karana Sharira, and Sthula Deha, which is the gross body. So now this individual soul is created in the mind, which can be roughly called as Atma. What is karma samgnitaha, the yajna? So whatever the beings are doing, and also what is done in the nature, like rain and the sun, plants, food, nutrition, different environments like the rutus and all that is part of yajna. So one needs to understand this yajna, because this is what creates the life cycle of birth and death. One is with expectation, one is without expectation. Yajna done with expectation will give you new birth. You, in the sense, the mind, the chittas will relive next moment and the next moment and the next moment and next moment. That creates the pattern of moment. Whereas non-expectation will eliminate the need of existence. Adhibhootam is the kshara bhava. Kshara is the perishable nature, so it keeps on perishing. What do we mean by the term organic? Organic means that which can perish. Inorganic means that which does not perish by its own, unless a special cause is created for it to perish. So what we are talking is perishable, and this perishing thing is called as the Vishwa. So when we look at the Vishwa, a world goes through creation, sustenance, destruction, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. These three things will happen in a Vishwa, because it has come into a gross plane of existence, which is creation of perishability. So the Prakriti perishes every now and then. That's its nature. It cannot change the basic nature of perishability into imperishable. Purusha is imperishable, but when come in contact with perishable, it also perishes along with the Prakriti. It cannot stay in the same shape or same type, same object forever. The Adhyatma is a subtle plane of existence. This is also perishable in nature. So Adhidaiva is all living entities fall under this Adhidaivatam, gods and humans and all that, and all the helm of all deities and beings, including Vishnu Loka, is within the Hiranyagarbha or the cosmic womb. So this whole thing is something called as Adhidaivam. So this Brahman, when comes down under, becomes Hiranyagarbha. So it becomes a womb of existence for everything. And Adhiyagna is how this being will now get into liberation, how the jiva goes back to its original existence, is what it is all about. So Vedanta philosophy of Shankara talks about the jiva merging with the Paramatma, or Atma merging with Paramatma, or the bucket of water where that Pratibimba merges with Bimba. Whereas the Madhvacharya view is that Pratibimba and Bimba are two different things. Whatever happens in the Pratibimba will not happen in the Bimba. So the theory of Shankara in terms of Pratibimba merging with the Bimba does not arise, which is also correct. So he says that this Pratibimba to become Bimba should have special causes and condition. And special causes and condition can never be created by an individual soul by itself. So it will remain as Pratibimba forever, and Bimba will remain as Bimba. The special causes can be only be bestowed by Sri Hari and nobody else. So this is the difference between the Madhva philosophy, that is Dvaita philosophy, and the Shankara philosophy. So Adhyagnam, when we come into existence, it is going back to Brahman, which is more in relation to the Vedanta of Shankara. But the same book can be represented to say that merging through Lord or God, which is Sri Hari. So if there is a Madhva follower, he will make it a Sri Hari. If he is not a Madhva follower and he is an Advaiti, that means he can see that the individual jiva has the capacity to merge with the Brahman. Oh, we are already at 9:20. Shall we end this and move into the Vivekachudamani, or shall we continue?
Maybe today we can continue, I think. You are mentioning Madhva and Shankara, but both they are discussing which is not visible to a common man, right?
Yes.
What we can see is a gross, maybe a little bit about our thought process, memory and all that. This is something beyond.
Yes.
Unless we experience, we can't say what is right, what's wrong.
Yes. I just wanted to give you that clarity where they both meet and they don't meet. Because this shloka, the fourth one, basically is about that. Anyway, now all philosophies merge into one in this fifth one. Remembrance and the last thought. Please remember that you will become what you think. So, antakale cha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yap prayati saha madbhavam yati na asti atra samshayah. Now, antakale. What is a kala? Can anybody answer? What would be the definition of kala?
Kala is for when things are. It's a time I know, but how to define? Something perishing happens with respect to something called kala.
Yes, so what perishes is the kala. What perishes within is the kala. or Kala will perish. Just like the morning happens and the evening happens, so there is Kala. So what is Antyakale?
When gross body is finished, last moment.
Okay.
But Antakala can come daily basis when you go for sleep also.
Yes. So Antyakala is momentary to momentary consciousness movement is Antyakala.
Oh, between two thoughts, huh?
Yes. There is nothing like you die at 80 or 90 or whatever. Between two thoughts. How do you come to know? You watch your breath. In breath goes, there is a stop. And out breath comes out, there is a stop. Again a new breath goes in. That is the Kala. This can be practically seen. So as soon as the in breath goes, there is a stop. That's a Kala. Change over. Then the out breath comes. Then there is a stop. A new breath goes in. Again there is a stop. Again out breath. So one breath goes in turns. So it turns around and there's a stop. And that stop is where Brahman is. And where you are breathing is where the Kala is.
Is it like this? Past and future is the Kala and present is
No,
not Kala?
past, present, future are all the three in the same Kala. Mind,
Present also part
yes,
of Kala?
present also is part of Kala.
But for Tattvamasi, it is always present. There is no Kala there.
Now when you experience really what is present is without the five senses. That is a present. Without five senses getting attached to the five sense objects is a present moment. Once it attaches itself with the five senses, it becomes part of past. So generally we don't really experience the present moment. If you were to experience the present moment, it will be blissful. Because you just met the consciousness.
Present is always blissful.
Yes. Present is
Yeah,
always
but a person can have a pain either in thinking or in his body pain. So how that is defined as blissful? If he forgets, if he detaches from these five organs, I agree.
That is what is called as present moment. You should go beyond this. Otherwise, what we call as present is the time. But we have never experienced the present moment. So we only know past and future.
But how do you define this pain in present?
There is no pain in the present. Try this out, but which I explained.
This is interesting. This is something very interesting.
No, you try it out.
Meditation.
Yes, you try it out. Try out the meditation. What I just now explained to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you are watching, just observe what are you watching.
I think the way you are explaining, I am already feeling that comfort.
Yeah, that is the present moment. Yeah. If you are finding bliss, it is a present moment of bliss because there is no conceptualization.
Yeah, it is just blissful.
Yeah, so when you are watching, there is just watching. It's not I am watching something. If I am comes, that is the past or the future.
Yes. So
Brahman is beyond I am. So if you want to live in the present moment, there is no relationship in the present moment. It is just present
See, is
moment.
it something a very similar experience when you go, say you are very tired, you want to sleep now, and you are transitioning from your current status to the sleep status. That transition moment is like a momentary.
Yes.
That is also a blissful moment.
That is also a blissful moment, but that is with a slight amount of this grossness.
Yeah. Correct.
Whereas here there is no gross.
But once you are in deep sleep, then you are not experiencing that. You will come to know only next day.
That is the ignorance. That is the present moment, but that is ignorance, right? You don't have any kala at all, right?
Yeah.
See, you slept at, let us say, 10 o'clock. You woke up at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
What you did from 10 to 6, you have no idea, right?
Yes.
That whole thing is the present moment.
Kala is not mood.
There's no movement, right?
Yes.
That is the present moment. What is past? Before you slept.
Yes.
What is future? What you are going to do after getting up.
Correct.
So where is the present? You tell me that.
But is it possible to watch that sleep throughout?
Yes. That is Turiya.
Really possible to experience?
Yes, sir. And that is what I explained to you, what I do in the morning when I do walking. What you need to do is, as soon as you start, you go to your terrace. Don't identify anything. Terrace as terrace, right? Does it really matter whether it is your terrace or somebody's terrace?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Does it really matter whether it's your body, somebody's body? Okay. Is it really matter that it is your breathing or somebody's breathing?
No.
Your sight, somebody's sight. Your sound, somebody's sound. Your taste, somebody's taste. Your touch, somebody's touch. Nothing, right? If you keep on reflecting on that, you will immediately get into a state where you don't identify anything at all. If anything gets identified, it is always either for the future or to the past.
Yeah, in that stage you will be very, very light because you are not attaching. When you attach, only the weight comes.
That is called as present moment. No, you will not remember anyone at that time.
Yes.
And that is what Krishna is explaining here. That thought. Antakale cha mam eva.
That is what my Marata Kshana. And that can happen when you are listening to very classical music, or when you are deep into some innovative ideas.
Whatever, that kshana where you are not there. That is
only Tat is there.
Only Tat is there. And tell me, will you be born again if you are in Tat? No, you can't be born.
No death and no birth.
Only when there is Tvam as an individual being with thoughts, you can be born. Because vasanas exist. So he says, if you can't do it like that, you should do the following. Antakale chamam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati saha madbhavam yati na asti atra samshayaha. So he says, just meditate upon me all the time. Even at the very end.
See, you are talking about meditation. But in, I think, previous chapters, we studied that for meditation means you should be like this. Some conditions given. You should be Suchir Bhuta. You should be sitting in somewhere nice asana and in a nice place where there is no disturbance. So that means that desha counts for you to start. Once you reach there, then okay, you forget everything. So preparation is required.
Preparation is required. So that is what you do. That first, initially, to go to an empty space or an empty place, and then sit in a proper posture and all that. Once you get established, then you come out and do it all the time in all the situations.
Yeah. Because when you talk, when I am sitting in my chair, I get absorption power is something. The moment I see the greenery and sky, right now I am watching that, sitting in my home through the window, but immediate connection. Is there any that special power comes from this nature during that time?
You are part
or
of
it
the
is a distractionless?
No, it is not like that. Your mind is pure, so it can perceive the nature much easily than other time around. See, the state what you are in right now is a peaceful state.
Very peaceful state.
Yes, so as long as we are talking like this, you are peaceful, let us say. So when you perceive nature, it will be very good because you are that nature.
Mm-hmm. Because it's neutral.
Yes, because it is neutral. So neutrality is Brahman. So it should always be peaceful. It can't be anything other than peaceful.
Similarly, watching the nature and maybe water flow or anything like that, greenery, everything is very useful for this.
Yes, because the mind connects to that. Because you are missing the point here is that it is part of the same Prakriti, right? Mind.
Yes.
So it wants to associate with Prakriti.
Even during this time, anything outside of this is a disturbance. Even family members, if you have any friend circle you have, which is going to create any problem, we don't want to miss this kind of things.
True. So if you can stay like that forever, you will get liberated.
I remember Sadhguru used to say, he used to be there in the forest for 7 days and all that. And he used to live with the honey for food for 2-3 days continuously. And then I think that is the time he got maximum the spiritual energy when he was wandering around.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, correct. You can go ahead.
Okay. So he says, meditate or remember me in the last moment. Smaran muktva kalevaram. While leaving his body, kaleva is destruction. Kalevaram is one that get distracted completely. So when he is leaving the body, ya prayati saha madbhavam. Whosoever goes forth with that bhava, yati na asti atra samshayah. Does he reach? There is no doubt about it. Because what he thinks, he becomes. So what the yatis have done is that they have ensured they remain in Krishna consciousness. Be it Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Prabhupada to Swami Raghavendra to all the Dasa Sahityas, Purandara Dasa and Kanaka Dasa and Mirabai and all of that, if you really see, they have stayed with their deity so that they get there. So in the last moment, they see that deity. So they come to him. So he is saying, instead of worrying over who is Brahman, you worry over who is me. Me as in Krishna, because his mind is pure. You become that. You become Krishna consciousness. You become pure mind. So you are liberated. That's what is the meaning. And then he gives a caution notice. This is for a general public. Yam yam va api smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam tam evati kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whosoever thinking of any being leaves the body at the end, to that being he goes. It's a very dangerous statement. If I am feeling like a dog, I will become dog. If I love cat, and that is what is coming in my mind, I will become cat. If I love discourses which I am giving right now and my mind is pure, assuming this is my last moment, I will be born in a place where I can start giving discourses. If I love meditation and if I am meditating and I'm coming out of all the compulsions, comparisons, competition, compromise, then I will be born in a place where these four don't exist. However, if I am meditating on that supreme reality, I will not have any further existence. That's what he's saying. 6th verse. So the rule of the game.
In this case, the person, say Krishna consciousness person, he will be always there after death with Krishna.
Yes, that's what he is saying in the 5th one.
And another person, he is just meditating on Tattvam Asi. And for him, there is no rebirth.
There is no rebirth.
So for Krishna conscious person, he will born like he'll reach a God status.
Yes, and he says that my mind is pure. That means you will not be born.
Pure means there is no birth.
Yeah, what he is saying is this is for people who cannot get into Nirguna Brahman. See, this Bhagavad Gita is for people who cannot get into Brahma Sutra. This is for people who are stuck up in the Saguna Brahman.
Oh, Bhagavad Gita ends with the Saguna, yes.
Saguna.
Perfect, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this is for people who have trouble in understanding that eternal thing, which doesn't have any form, nor it has any shape, nor it has any color, texture, whatever, gunas, everything is not there. So what Krishna is saying is that I am that being who has come to this earth. Okay? If you believe me in my whatever I have done as my avatara, you better follow me. If you follow me, you will not regret, because I will take you to the place where you are supposed to be, which is deathless state. This is one way of doing. Another way of doing, no, I don't believe in Krishna. I will go by Tattvamasi. I know how to do it. Okay, you are on the Jnana Marga. Beautiful. Go ahead. Do it. This is more of a bhakti marga rather than a jnana marga. Questions?
If that is so, then why Bhagavad, this Shankaracharya has touched this Bhagavad Gita? Because this is not Jnana Marga, right?
It's not completely bhakti yoga, bhakti marga, but it has the tinge of bhakti marga. Let us say it is like 60-40, 60 of jnana and 40 of bhakti.
Combination.
Combination, right? It is a very good one, actually. See,
So for all acharyas, this is very suitable.
this is very suitable and this is non-controversial. Bhagavad Gita don't have any controversy because it suits all kind of mindset. See, if somebody is a ardent devotee, there is an answer. There's bhakti yoga. If somebody believes in only karma, there is karma yoga. Somebody believes only in jnana, there is jnana yoga. Somebody believes in sannyasa, yes, sannyasa yoga. Somebody believes in kshetrajna. Okay, here you have this kshetrajna yoga. Then somebody wants to transcend the daiva asura. Okay, here is daiva asura yoga, like that.
Oh, for everything there is a chapter.
Yeah, for everything there's chapter. No, 18 chapters, you have got 18 kind of personalities. Or rather 16 kind of personalities.
So any human being will be one of them. Huh?
Yes, minimum. So you have to select on what you think you are in these 16 chapters. What is that? It resonates in you and you have to develop that ability in that chapter. So it is pointless to go through each chapter and learn.
Correct.
So what he has done, what Krishna has done is that he has given the table of contents in the second chapter on what all he will be elaborating. So he talks about Sthita Prajna, he talks about everything there in the second chapter. So that's a clarity what is given.
Yes.
So whatever we think, we happen. So let's take an example.
Again, one question here.
Yeah,
Whatever we think we happen is one. So I want to achieve some goal. It will happen with my effort and also the environment. Sometimes something happens without our thinking.
Though the thinking was
It may be
there,
even bigger than effort when we invest.
no, the thinking was there in the last birth and now it has manifested. There is nothing which happens without thinking. Whatever you feel is happening because of you not getting associated also is because that you associated sometime in the past.
So how to remove those thinkings in this life if I don't like? It's only meditation.
Yes, only through meditation.
Because I don't know what I thought in my previous life.
No, that is the reason. The only answer to that is you have to go and meditate dhyana. There is no other way to remove.
So you will get internal message. Huh?
Yes, you will get to see what all was meditated in earlier life to get this kind of life. And then you know what thought you need to keep and what thought shouldn't be kept. So right now we have all kind of thoughts. Any thought can come.
Yes. Is it possible to control that thought should not come? Bad thoughts?
No, that is the whole idea of doing meditation, is to remove that. In the 7th chapter we spoke about also, 6th and 7th. If you see that it is like making that pot not able to grow anything, which is called as liberation. But initially you have to remove the weed. Weed are the bad thoughts. So only good thoughts remain. So in the dying moment you get only good thoughts. And the dying moment is the next very moment. Because we don't know how many moments are there in our life. So then comes the urgency. Mumukshatva doesn't come to any one of us because we think tomorrow exists and there is eternity. I'm still at 48, so there is still a long way to go, right? And still I have to achieve 80, let us say. 80 or 85 or 90 or whatever it is. So I still have 30 more years, 40 more years. What is urgency now? So if I have karma in my mind right now, and that was my last thought moment, I will be in Kamaloka. Can be as an animal, can be as a human. This knowledge, whatever I am sharing about Bhagavad Gita or Vivekachudamani or whatever it is, will not be there. It will be there, it would have gone down and something else has come up, so it will take over. Maybe one fine day, I'll again get back, or I might not even get back until the next life. So then comes the urgency.
Okay, one more question. When you move from one life to another life, why that first 10-15 years is of all waste? Because we have no maturity at all there.
No,
then,
only
to
few
get into maturity, you need that teenage. That time you learn something and then you are going to the next stage.
No, there are people.
Why that is created in the system?
No, nobody has created that in the system. Actually, there are people who get it immediately also. There are people who never get it, and there are people who get it in their middle age. Because that's the time it takes for the thought to move away. The karma created in that thought will stay that much amount of time.
See, when the child is born, the child is equivalent to God. No thoughts, nothing, no fear,
it has thoughts.
not connected with 5 organs.
Sorry.
And then slowly, then the thing, it comes to something called maturity.
No.
During the maturity only you can do all this dhyana, gina and all that. My question is, if there's a death in the previous life, it was a certain condition.
No, but let me stop you for a second. The child immediately after conceived into the womb will be able to sense. In the 4th month, it starts sensing. But it can't do anything. It senses, it feels also. There is a feeling. It feels good, it feels bad. It is reflecting on its past life. All the past life things are coming, so it is still enjoying whatever is happening and whatever is, it is coming like a dream to it and it is enjoying or suffering, basically. So you can't say that the child is not able to perceive. It is able to feel, it is able to perceive from the 4th month onwards. Now the 9th month, 10th day, 15th day, whatever time that child comes out, all the 5 senses come into operation. How? It knows who is touching, something is touching, it cries, it does something, then it wants to eat. So it will find out and have the milk of the mother. If it was not able to perceive that, it wouldn't know from how to suck the milk from the mother. So it's not that it doesn't know, it knows. I don't think so any mother has taught.
But it is not doing any karma during that time.
It is doing karma. Sorry, it is doing karma. It is doing the karma of what it's supposed to do at that time.
Yeah, it's a neutral karma. There is no papa and punya there, right?
No, there are no. There are children or there are child, even on the day 1 of their birth, they will have lot of trauma for themselves or to the mother. and there will be child which will be very peaceful from day one of its birth. There will be child
Yes.
which will do lot of what I can say. It will be doing lot of mischief things, or what we can say. It will be adamant and all that. So the mother wants to make it to drink milk. It will not. It will keep on crying. It will keep on jumping up and down, or it will start kicking the mother. All that is there. And after a few days also, it will be doing the same thing. There will be children who will be always be crying. Correct?
But is it intentional trouble?
Nothing to do with intention or intent. That is what the thoughts are coming. That's all. There is nothing which is coming without any intention due to thoughts. It's only the thoughts.
Some impression of previous life.
Impression of previous life, current life, whatever it is. So the mother is undergoing trauma of some children.
Yes, yes.
And she will even say that what kind of child has born to me, right?
Yeah, that happens.
That is what I'm telling you. But since, see, we are calling it as a child because it is so small. We are calling somebody as an adult by the body. We are calling somebody as a child because of the body. But does the mind have anything called as young and old?
Mind, no. It is just thoughts and impressions.
Yes. So it is wrong to say that the child will not have any impressions and it takes its own sweet time to understand. No. It will know from third month onwards. And fourth month onwards, it is able to experience everything.
Yeah.
So we don't know who has come into our womb, actually.
We have no control, right?
We have no control. And foolishly, the person treats the child as its own son or daughter. We don't know who that being is. That is from fourth month onwards. And its all thoughts are getting manifested. So it is enjoying and suffering the previous thought patterns it had. It remembers it is parents and brother, sister, child, or let us say son, daughter, whatever it is. But it is in an environment where it can't do anything. So it keeps on reflecting back, crying, reflecting back, crying or laughing or whatever. And the parents think that it is laughing at me and laughing at something else. No, it is not laughing at somebody. It is laughing, remembering all of its past. So the whole first 7 years, in that the first 3 years will go in reflection of the past. So it will be able to remember many lives, many things which has happened. So it knows what to do. So it knows how to grasp, how to eat, how to do whatever, because that impression is already there. The vasana is already there. So it goes behind what it knows. So somebody who is interested in stopping this whole rebirth cycle should do it immediately. Shouldn't wait. Because the last thought can be anything.
Yes.
So now we are all talking this, but we don't know what will be the last thought, right?
We have to put our best efforts for last good thoughts.
Yeah, and we don't know in what situation we are going to be when the last thought comes.
By default, suddenly it comes now. Oh Rama.
Yeah. See, let us take the case of Pranab Mukherjee or whoever, whatever, right? So now that person went into coma. So now what happened? Nobody knows. What thought came in that last moment? Nobody knows. Okay. Now we have SP Balasubramaniam, who is in hospital for a long time. What all thoughts are coming in his mind? Nobody knows. So just like that, everybody. So it is.
Yeah. But
So-
the important is before going to that coma, what thought comes, right? Once in coma, no thoughts.
No. Even then there will be thoughts, but it cannot be registered. Only that person knows.
Uh-huh.
So just like what thoughts we have right now, we don't have any thoughts. So if we were to die now, what happens? The last impression you have is on what we are discussing. So you will become that. So that means you will never be born in earth again or womb again. You will be born as a deva.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good, or is this family life good?
Best is not Deva, not Manushya.
No, that is fine. But right now, if
Yeah. I think it's good to have at least Deva.
yes, so now your mind is at a deva realm of existence.
Mm.
There are no other thoughts. There are no sensual thoughts, right? Presently.
Yeah.
So there no sensual thought. You cannot be born in a sensual domain of existence. So all the four of us will not be born in this plane of existence.
Okay, Vilas. I think
Yeah,
I have
even
to attend another meeting.
yeah, same here. Even I had to drop off.
Yeah.
Okay then, Lata. Okay,
Thank you.
Padmasree.
Good day.
Yeah, thank you. Good day tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.